live. All right. Hello, everybody. We're going to see who's on. We see who the babysitter is today. Welcome to Chili Goat Live. So we're going to talk about, we'll wait a second, give people a second here. Today we're going to talk about the positive effects on mental health with regard to cold immersion therapy. But before we start that, I'd like to share where we're at. We're in Kona. It's amazing. Okay. We've got a dealership here that we're visiting, and we've got access to some stuff that we don't normally have. So I'm going to show you a couple of things here. Of course, we have their Alpine, but we also have the Volaris. And we stuck Mary in there so that you guys can see that it's actually a pretty good sized hot tub.
Totally.
We've had that question.
I have my feet all the way stretched out, but there's plenty of room here.
Right. So it's amazing, but we never get one on the live, so we have access, and we're going to show you a sauna too. So we thought we'd take a second and showcase this bad boy. All right. So this, of course, is the cold side, which is the same as an Alpine, just attached, and it is all one piece, one mold, and this is the hot tub and the jets. Now, Mary, if I could ask you to stand up out of there, please. I want to show these jets because the jets are awesome in this guy.
Oh, yeah.
The
Calf
armrest,
jets, armrest,
Yep.
back, shoulder jets.
circ pump, really fantastic.
Nice lighting.
Okay. So, next thing we're going to do.
And shameless plug, it is Black Friday sale going on chiligoattubs.com. So if you've been thinking about getting a cold tub or a Volaris or one of our saunas or even the Chili Goat Go, there are lots of discounts, so it's a good time to take advantage of the sale.
Absolutely. Okay. So, corner tub, or corner sauna rather. It's pretty awesome.
It is really cool, that corner one.
Very cool. Now, I would like to point out a fun fact on the saunas. There is more heaters in the larger units so that the performance is exactly the same, which is not always the case with saunas. They're not all created equal. But I think that the corner unit, I think it's my favorite just because it's so neat. It's so neat to be in and so fun. But it is absolutely great. And enough of my face when we have that sitting there to look at. And again, today we are going to be talking about the positive effects, mental health effects of cold water therapy. And we just happen to have access to a Volaris in the flesh, which is amazing. And we put Mary in there to give it some size reference. It's big. It's 7 feet by 7 feet. Great jets. Massive chiller on the cold side. Also, just as a point of interest, the chiller on the cold side does not have anything to do with the heat on the hot side. It's not shared. It's separate. Okay. So next, I'm going to pop this back. Oop,
Whoops, wrong way. All right.
To Mary.
The
doctor is
we
in.
wanted to talk about some of the things that happen when you do cold water immersion.
Sorry.
And the positive things that happen to your body physiologically that help your brain mentally, essentially. So one of the things, we've mentioned this before when we were talking about cold water therapy and the benefits of it, but cold water therapy is hard. Getting in cold water is not fun. So if you can overcome that hurdle, maybe it's the first thing you do in the morning, or maybe it's, midday, or whenever you choose to get in the cold water. Overcoming that obstacle or overcoming that challenge, if you're like me, that is a huge challenge because I hate cold water, then you have proven to yourself that you've got grit, and that there is something beneficial about that. I remember the first time that I went in the cold water, I was like, absolutely not. I'm not doing it. It's terrible. And Ben was like, you have to try it. And it's way easier than, you have done way harder things, essentially. And
She walked an Ironman marathon on a broken damn foot.
And anyway, that was what eventually got me to go in, and he was right. It's not comfortable, but I have definitely done harder things. And however, the feeling you get when you get out, because I accomplished something that was really a challenge for me, both mentally and physically, there's just a lot of good feeling that comes out of that.
A lot of good juice.
Right. Another thing, cold water therapy is beneficial for inflammation and pain. So for individuals who experience a lot of pain on a daily basis, whether it be chronic pain or even just
Soreness
temporary
from working out at our
pain,
ages.
exactly, that cold water is going to help alleviate some pain. So there has to be some mental health benefit, because your pain is
You're feeling
relieved
so
and you're
significant.
feeling better. You think about people who have chronic back pain or leg pain or neck pain, and they experience a lot of pain relief in the cold water, and it's just
Right.
really beneficial for your mood.
Actually,
When-
I'd like to give an
Yeah.
example. So wherever we film from, inevitably someone in a diesel truck will pull up next to us. And I don't know if you can hear that. It happens at home when we're filming live from our warehouse. The company next door is a huge oil company, and they'll drive the oil trucks back in and they'll idle. So right now there's a diesel idling in the parking lot. And what's happening internally is my blood is boiling. And I know that if I get in this
Right.
cold tub right here, I will feel better and maybe not like going over there and stomping the last breath out of that person. That's what's going on. That's the turmoil inside my
Yeah.
brain, and everyone can relate to annoyances every single time. There it goes.
I took a thermalist certification course recently, and one of the coolest things I think that I took from the education was what happens to our bodies when we get in cold water. And what's interesting is that this happens only when you immerse yourself in cold water, your whole body, or at least up to your neck. This doesn't happen when you take cold showers. So a lot of people say, "Oh, cold showers, I've tried that." I think it's actually harder because
I do too.
of this.
Totally.
So I just think this is really, really cool what happens. So when you get in cold water, and if you have done it, you experience this, you get that initial shock where it takes your breath away and you have trouble, kind of like, it's that short, shallow breathing. Your heart rate is going to increase, and it's an initial shock of the cold. And that actually activates your sympathetic nervous system, which essentially is your fight or flight. So raised heart rate, shortened breath, all of that shock feeling.
Fear,
Right.
all of it.
If you are able to calm your breathing and start taking deeper breaths, your parasympathetic nervous system will actually become activated. And that actually has a calming effect on your body. Your body will release dopamine, norepinephrine, and oxytocin, which all are going to have mood enhancing benefits. And then as your parasympathetic system is activated, it's going to stimulate a calming response. And if you are watching someone do cold water immersion, you can actually see it happen. You see the person almost freaking out, trying to catch their breath,
Accurate description, for sure. The first time, for sure.
cringing, crying practically, and then all of the sudden, as they start to take those deeper breaths and breathe in, you can actually see their body physically calm down,
Face,
and
everything.
you can see that mentally they're starting to calm down. And that response, it's referred to as this circus response between those two systems, actually has a calming response in the body, which is really helpful for mood. It also can help with sleep, so improve sleep. But since we're talking about mood, definitely improved mood and improved mental.
Improving your sleep will have positive mental
right,
health effects
exactly.
anyway.
So sometimes it's not the initial response, which also brings you up here, especially when you get out, but the longer term effects of repeated cold water immersion as your body becomes more adapted to the cold water. There are just numerous long-term effects.
It is interesting when you coach someone through their first time. And I'll actually add this: having someone who knows what they're doing,
Absolutely.
coaching you through your first time will make your experience far better. You will very likely get a hug and a thank you afterwards if you are that coach. And it's very comforting to people to have someone guide them through something that is honestly, whether they want to admit it or not, is scary. It's
Sure.
hard and it's scary. And that's the response. You can't fake it. Your body and your brain are scared. So it's really wonderful. But then, for us, we come across people who is their first time, and we love to coach first timers because it's so rewarding personally.
And for like coaching them wise,
I totally meant for me.
But it is for the person too.
Right,
I mean,
right. It's super useful for them.
It is.
But then you can tell when someone has done it a bunch.
Yes.
They just get in and there's no expression on their face and their heart rate is not that elevated. They still go through but then it's super fast, maybe 15, 20, 30 seconds tops, and they're through the woods and then they're just chilling and it's just a time clock. So it's so fascinating to watch
It really
people's
is.
responses and all that. That's where that good juicy stuff comes from, is all those responses.
And one thing that I want to mention too is that you're basically putting stress on your body. Doing cold water immersion is increasing stress, a certain amount of stress on your body, physiologically, mentally. And there is a level of good stress that is actually good for us. Exercise is good stress, cold water immersion is good stress. However, there is a line between overdoing it, where the good stress actually becomes bad stress. And honestly, spending too much time in cold water can actually be overdoing the good stress, and it could become bad stress. Too much of a good thing isn't necessarily a good thing.
Same with exercise.
Exactly.
Same with nearly everything. We always sort of have a fun way to say it. If you're climbing up Mount Everest, once you get to the top, that would be, that
Right.
would represent all the benefits there are from cold immersion therapy. Once you get to the top, there's no more up. You just come back down the backside, and you start losing some of the stuff that you gained.
Right.
So you want to go to the top and stay there, and that's it. So we do run into a lot of really hardcore people. I do 7 minutes at 39 degrees. You really don't need to do that.
Right.
It is not going to get you any more benefits. I mean, I suppose there could be a slightly more mental health benefits because you set that goal and you achieved it.
Right.
But it would strictly be from that. It's not, physiological at that point.
Right.
Okay.
And just to reiterate that a really well-researched protocol for cold water therapy is to try to go for 3 to 5 minutes, or building up even to 3 to 5 minutes a day, to get to about 11 to 15 minutes per week. And that is a really good, kind of benchmark to reach. And then you can make adjustments on that. So if 3 minutes seems too easy now and you're at 50 degrees, go down to 48 degrees.
Absolutely.
And go for, build up to 5 minutes again each time. So there's just a lot of different ways to incorporate cold water immersion into your routine, but just be aware of the benefits and also the risks, and that's something that you just want to kind of think about.
We have had some very neat special forces type people who were sort of proving to each other how tough they were, and we all know they are the toughest.
Right.
But they were shivering for 2 hours afterwards. That's
Right.
probably too far.
Yes.
And then afterwards, upon reflection, they came back and said, all right, maybe you guys were right. This feels stupid now. They're still shivering an hour and 30 minutes later. That's probably too far.
Yeah.
But, obviously they have the mental wherewithal to do that. They're
Right.
non-typical. and,
Right.
and it's not necessary, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, so go to the top of Everest, and that's it.
I'm just going to take a quick look to make sure we don't have any other questions. And if you do, or you're watching this later, you can certainly just post a question on there and we'll get back to it later. But we thank you guys for coming today, and we hope that if you haven't tried out cold water therapy, that you do, because there are some really great physical and mental benefits to it. And then we will see everyone in 2 weeks, which is December 4th already. We're in December, it's crazy.
Right on.
But everybody have a great day, and we will see you soon.